That's the key. Why we are not love? Because we avoid a certain aspect of pain. And it's okay. Maybe we can't face that pain now, but maybe we can face a little bit of it today, a little bit more tomorrow. And again, little pieces of that pain, if we can approach it in a moderate way, in a conscious way, in a courageous way, once we stop pushing the pain out, we will stop pushing the love out.
How does it come to this blocking of love? That even if maybe, and maybe some of you have been in such situations where it's like 10 people are around you trying to shower you with love, trying to do everything possible for you to notice that they have a lot of affection and tenderness and love towards you, but somehow it just doesn't go in. And this description of open and closed system, and also the nervous system components that we spoke about, influence this a lot. The main thing is that there happens in one way or another, at one point, a little bit, let's say, of a confusion of when is it functional, healthy, good for me to put out the open system, and when is it functional, healthy, and good for me to put out the closed system. When that confusion starts to happen, that's usually when we go into this blocking out good things for ourselves. So as you see here in point 1, very often there's some sort of negative association between with love, between something bad that happened, something painful that happened, and love. That might be something that doesn't even maybe look huge from the outside, but if within your system, especially in the first 7 years of your life, even 14, 16 years of your life has been interpreted in one way or another as really troubling, then that, let's say, marker within your nervous system as it was developing will sort of play along within your life until you, let's say, unlearn it and undo that correlation between love and pain, between love and danger, between love and difficult stuff happening. We call this in psychology relational trauma. It doesn't have to always be some huge type of abuse or something like that. It can be simply even mild forms of neglect, where simply your parents didn't know that certain needs that every human being has are not met in their parenting style. Even they were really giving their best and they really loved you, but they made some certain mistakes. Or maybe simply people, maybe not in your family of origin, but people within your environment, kindergarten, school, or something like that, were not able to attune to you. All of these can be disturbing in understanding when is it good to put my walls up and when is it good to put my walls down. The monkey in the jungle knows very well it is very good to put my walls up when there is a tiger in front of me and then I run to the next tree, and it's very good to put my walls down when my friend over here wants to take the lice out of my fur and cuddle me and maybe even mate with me. How cool would that be? Yeah, the monkey has absolutely no confusion about this. It's very, very clear. But because our systems, especially the emotional cognitive connections within our systems, are more complex, we tend to carry these so-called relational traumas with us, and they create the confusion of what to do when to close, when to open. The pain that is now related to the love will tend to make a sort of shift in strategy, that all of a sudden we're like, okay, wait a second, maybe there is a danger connected to love, to intimacy, to affection. So maybe let's put up a wall. Let's have some sort of thing that could protect me from that particular pain that I might be anticipating for the future when things get too loving. As you can see here, we will interpret love as a possible harm, as a possible source of pain, and therefore close down to it and not let it in any longer, even though we might be longing for it very much. Because of course our needs to replenish our level of affection and emotionality with wonderful close and cuddly time with loved ones and intimacy and so forth, that wish of regenerating in that way remains. also anchored into our nervous system, anchored into our instincts. But on the other hand, we establish this learned putting up of walls towards this thing that we actually long for because we associate it with pain and danger. Now, this wall, of course, will lead to have a defensive mode when love is coming our way, therefore not letting it in. Now, the last principle that you see here on the slide is that you can't touch love without touching the pain, or even better to say, it is good to understand that our system is non-preferential when it comes to closing and opening, let's say, as a whole, or non-selective. You cannot select to close down, to shut down one certain emotional aspect while being very open in another emotional aspect. You can rather think of emotions as a soup or a pond or something like that. If you step into the pond, you touch all of it. So if you touch love, you will touch the pain associated with love, and also all the other sadnesses and joys and angers and jealousies and everything you have ever felt. And this is usually something that is quite difficult to deal with unless we go into therapy or we go into very, very profound transformative spiritual practices and self-awareness methods. It will be quite, let's say, back and forth between us and our emotional world, where we are sort of one step in and that pain came up, that danger came up. I wanted to take a swim in the pond of love, but then I got in touch with all of this other stuff. So as I'm diving into that which would potentially actually make me happy and even heal me, I will sort of just draw back as if touching a hot plate, because also the pain will arise and anger will arise and trauma will arise and so forth. And this is somehow the dilemma that we see a lot nowadays, and it gets worse the more stress we have, as somehow this exaggerated going towards the sympathetic nervous system, towards defense mode, closed mode, will even make it more difficult to even just open in the first place. So we are sitting in this sort of place, which for many of us is at least true to a certain degree. And the question is now, of course, what can we do about it?
The first step is to understand, to become conscious, and then to learn to open and close voluntarily. The phone rings, you look at the phone, someone you hate, but you gotta have that call because of some reason. And you can just feel, you are now very happy and you can just feel. Hello. Yeah? You feel the shutting down. Don't stop it. Don't change it. Finish that call. The phone rings again. Oh, that person. How you love that. How you waited for this call. See how you lit up. How you expand on the energetic level, on the emotional level. Feel what happens. Yeah? As you receive phone calls, as you enter a room, in the midst of a conversation, you speak and it's very, very nice, and then that subject comes up. You really like each other, and then the subject you are tense about rises. Again, that subject. Feel. Shutting down. Shutting down with anger, shutting down with fear, shutting down with expressed anger, shutting down with suppressed anger, shutting down passive-aggressive, shutting down manipulative, shutting down pressing, shutting down withdrawing. Learn. Opening up fusing, opening up playful. Learn how the system opens and closes, and see the different patterns, nuances. A little bit open, a little bit closed. Open to make a joke, not open to speak about deep things. Learn the system, and then gradually you can do it at will. It's what they do in acting school. Yeah, today there is close-ups. When there was theater and you would see them from afar, they just have to be very loud and it was fine. Now with a close-up, they have to feel the state. So they have to open and close at will. It's a very, very good exercise, and you can start to do it yourself. Now, once you learn to do it, you can intentionally, consciously open, because mostly this is a subterranean mechanism. You don't give the order. You gave the order 25 years ago, 50 years ago, 3 years ago, and then they continue to follow the protocol of what they guess you want. Yeah, somewhere in the body, in the mind, in your energy structure, somebody guesses that now you want to close because you got that phone call, because you enter that discussion. And unfortunately, also when you are loved, I guess he wants to close because last time there was love, something happened. So once we retake that mechanism and we learn to do the inhale, exhale, open, close consciously, we can choose to open when love comes. It's one element. We will in a moment connect it to more elements. Now, as Blandine mentioned, love was associated at a certain point with a trauma, with some pain. Yeah? Anybody who didn't have never any love, any pain related to love, you can raise your hand in the cyberspace. We all have some pain related to love, and the pain associates. And as Blandine mentions, like that soup, love surfaces, the pain surfaces. Now, if we are very rigid about avoiding pain, avoiding emotional pain, or that particular pain that rises with the love is marked as public enemy, never want to see him, then we will throw the love and the pain together. And that pain will not be experienced consciously, and the love will not be experienced and will not be taken in. Very often the traumas that make us less loved, they are traumas of certain issues that we don't want to face. So you can take in, okay, we loved each other and now we got completely bored and we kind of spoke about it and kind of decided together to break up. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts for a while. It's fine. It's done. I'm open to love again. But if in the process it was touching a point, you received the feedback of something you don't want to see inside of you, it hurt your pride, it hurt your social relationships, it was associated with something very painful, maybe the other person was actually abusive towards you, you felt victim, you felt this, you felt that, it touched a certain degree of pain, maybe related to your self-image as a lover, and that was so destructive, you never want to look there again. And because we don't want to look at the pain, it is not the pain itself that blocks us from love. This is the point. Pain cannot block us from being loved. Avoiding pain. Pain is not trauma. Avoiding pain is trauma. Yeah? You understand what is trauma? It reduces our sensitivity. Reduces our sensitivity and reduces our consciousness. Yeah, like Oedipus that blinded himself after he found out what he did. This is how this whole trauma entered our subconscious. Yeah, so we blind ourselves to the pain and blind ourselves in the process also to the love. Now, we don't necessarily need to know the story of the trauma. Sometimes the story will rise in the healing process, sometimes it doesn't. Finding out why we have the trauma doesn't solve it. The mental finding out, yeah, I know it's from my childhood related to this incident that happened with my parents when I was 5. But I still can't open to love. The intellectual knowledge is not enough. What will solve the situation? Once we stop avoiding the pain. That's the key. Why we are not loved? Because we avoid a certain aspect of pain. And it's okay. Maybe we can't face that pain now. But maybe we can face a little bit of it today, a little bit more tomorrow, maybe with a therapist a little bit more the third day, maybe with our beloved a little bit more the fifth day, maybe again and again, little pieces of that pain. If we can approach it in a moderate way, in a conscious way, in a courageous way, once we stop pushing the pain out, we will stop pushing the love out.
Hey guys, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content on spirituality, Tantra and more.
And if you want to sign up for our online classes or for our retreats, you can see our website on the description below.